All right, today we're diving into a really short but incredibly packed passage from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 8. In just a handful of verses, we get a front-row seat to divine power, the fulfillment of some seriously ancient prophecy, and a raw, unfiltered look at what it actually costs to follow Jesus. It's amazing how it pivots from this deep compassion to a radical, life-changing demand.
To really get what Matthew is doing here, we have to start where he does, with prophecy. We're talking hundreds of years earlier. The prophet Isaiah spoke about a figure who was coming, someone who would carry the burdens of his people. Now, this isn't just some poetic backdrop for Matthew. No, this ancient promise is the very lens through which he wants us to see every single healing, every miracle.
And the first miracle in this section, well, it's not some grand public spectacle. It's actually really personal, very intimate. Jesus walks right into the home of his disciple, Peter, and finds a pretty common family crisis unfolding.
What's so striking here is just how simple this whole thing is. The text lays it out so directly. There's no big, elaborate ritual, no magic words. It's just problem, a fever, action, a touch. And the result? It's immediate. The fever is gone, and she doesn't just feel a little better. She gets up and starts serving them. That shows a complete, total restoration of her strength. Just like that.
And that immediacy is so important. This isn't a slow recovery that you could just explain away. The healing is instantaneous. It's a clear signal that this power over sickness is absolute, it's intentional, there's really no room for doubt or coincidence here. It's a straight-up display of authority over the physical world.
So as the sun goes down, this healing power just explodes. What started with one person in a private home now blows up to include the entire community. And this is where Matthew connects all the dots to a much bigger prophetic purpose.
Can you just picture that scene? Word has obviously spread like wildfire. As evening sets in, people start bringing all their sick and afflicted loved ones. The Bible says he healed all that were sick, and his power wasn't just over physical stuff. It says he also cast out spirits with his word. He's tackling both physical and spiritual suffering on this massive scale.
And boom, this is Matthew's main point. It's brilliant. He sees this incredible outpouring of healing, and he's basically saying, This is what Isaiah was talking about all those centuries ago. He quotes the prophet directly, framing what Jesus is doing not just as acts of mercy, but as the literal fulfillment of that ancient promise. He is the one who takes on our sickness.
For Matthew's original audience, this whole idea of fulfillment was everything. It was a huge deal. He's building a case, right? He's presenting these healings like they're Exhibit A in a courtroom. This is direct proof that Jesus is the long-awaited Messiah, that suffering servant from Isaiah who steps into our world of pain to bring healing.
But just when we're getting comfortable with this image of a compassionate healer, the story takes a hard right turn. Jesus sees the crowds, gets ready to leave, and right then, he's approached by a couple of potential followers. And his answers? Wow. They reveal the staggering personal cost of discipleship.
So a scribe, a respected teacher of the law, a big deal, comes up and pledges to follow him literally anywhere. And this is Jesus' response. It is such a stark, sobering reality check. He's not offering security or comfort or a nice home. He's offering a life of total uncertainty, of homelessness. Following him means you leave all that earthly security behind. And if you thought that was radical, well, the next conversation is even more shocking. Another disciple comes up with what sounds like a totally reasonable request, something tied to the most sacred family duties in that culture. Okay. This statement would have been absolutely jarring to anyone hearing it in the first century. Burying your father wasn't just a nice thing to do, it was a non-negotiable, sacred duty. It was a cornerstone of honoring your family. But Jesus' command is immediate, it's absolute. The call to follow him, to join the kingdom of the living, it trumps every other duty, even the most deeply respected ones.
To really feel the weight of this, you got to understand what being a disciple meant back then. It wasn't like being a student in a classroom today. No, a disciple was an apprentice who completely attached themselves to their master. They left their job, their home, their family, to literally walk in their teacher's footsteps and take on his entire way of life, hardships and all.
So when you boil it all down, this wasn't a call to just believe a few new ideas. It was a call for a total reordering of your entire life. Your ultimate allegiance had to shift to him. Your stuff, your career, all secondary. You had to be willing to embrace hardship, and your response had to be, right now, no hesitation. And that leaves us wrestling with this powerful tension, doesn't it? The same person who's so full of compassion, who literally takes our infirmities and carries our sicknesses, is also the one who makes the most radical, all-in demand on our lives. This passage really forces us to ask, how do we reconcile that comforting healer with the demanding master? And what on earth does that mean for us today?